change. Springtime never felt this strange. I've never seen the mountains so green. Reminds me of home, but it's just fuel for the flame. I got married in September. I never thought it would be me. Sometimes I see my whole life in a moment. Sometimes I can dream to the moon. Sometimes my doubt gets in the way of what I'm seeing. Heart will lead, eyes closed, breathe. I think I've finally stopped searching. Someone told me once it's all I ever do, and I can't say I found anything. I looked around, saw everything in front of me. Sometimes I see my whole life in a moment. Sometimes I can dream to the moon. Sometimes my doubt gets in the way of what I'm seeing. Heart will lead, eyes closed, breathe. Will lead, eyes closed and breathe, eyes closed and breathe. Sometimes I see my whole life in a moment. Sometimes I can dream to the moon. Sometimes my doubt gets in the way of what I'm seeing. Heart will lead, eyes closed, breathe. Thank you. All right. Let's see. I think this is probably a good time to switch over to the piano. So give us a minute, and I'll be over there in a second. Let me pop on over there. Whoa. All right. This first song I'm going to play on piano is for the month of September. It's called Sweet September. Sweet September, don't you remember the sun? Flowers, summer feels like a dream to me now. I could use a long drive to let my mind wander. I leave my window open so she can grow in light. Breathe in that newness now. Don't forget this time around. Walking through the park don't feel the same now, but it's so familiar. The flowers moved on somehow. Let me go. That girl is no longer. We must move. We must go. But she won't be a stranger. I leave my window open so she can grow in light. Breathe in that newness now. Don't forget this time around. I leave my window open so she can grow in light. Breathe in that newness now. Don't forget this time around. Cool, okay. Oh, thank you. Wasn't expecting that one. Okay, this next song is one of my newest on the piano, and I'm really excited about it. So I haven't played it very much live, I think maybe once or twice. So yeah, it's called Moon Dance. Hey, won't you come out tonight and I'll bring you some wildflowers. Hey, December came and left with all the hours. When will we become too young, too old to face our Thank you. Cool. Perfect. I got two more for you guys. This next one is off of my album also. It's called Seagulls Fly. This is kind of the broken down version. If you're trying to find a song to bump to, that's the one. Still following me. Okay, cool. So this next song, my last song for the evening, is going to be kind of a sadder one. I feel like there's been some sad ones tonight, but I feel like my piano ones kind of, they go that direction. So this next song, it's more nostalgic than anything. It's about the home that I grew up in. And so this is for my parents back home. Oh, tear. Okay. This is called 13130. Is a house a home? All the trees are grown. Paint the colors that you know. Cry and laugh and scream all night long. The walls didn't build this home. The fabric of love sewn. All the years, the yellow glow. 13130. I call the blue swain. Let me fly into the air. Let's kick the can right as dusk reaches our hands. Planes fly over above our little corner of the world. Lay in the glass, look through the telescope. Do we see the face on the moon? Hours pass, seasons change, slam the door, open it wide. I wrote my first song. Here we gathered, we laughed, we cried, we sang, we made a home for our lives. An address is not a home. We cling to the numbers that we know. 5 souls, 1 home, memories deep within our bones. The walls didn't build this home. The fabric of love sewn. All the years, the yellow glow. 13130. That's all I have for you tonight. Oh my gosh, thank you so much.
All right. We're going to go ahead and move this up right here. All right, folks, give it up one more time for Sara Van Hecke, please. All right. Now, for those of you watching online, I do apologize. I had a cascading series of visual and sound issues I was diagnosing about the 20-minute mark of the show. So if you saw the stream drop up and then I started dropping comments in chat about, hey, go to this link, that was just me trying to get you back over to it while I was diagnosing and troubleshooting all of that. But we got it back up and we're able to finish the show out strong right there. And I got to say, for our feature, Sara, as excited and nervous as you were, I knew you were going to keep it together, and I knew you were just going to enjoy your moment, and it really looks like you did. What do you guys think? Do you guys think she really enjoyed her moment? Now, for those of you that are just tuning in online or just popping in here in the house, this is the Overpaired Open Mic. Except on the last Wednesday of the month, this 1 hour block I call the Front Range Groove. This is where I bring in one music act, or I'll bring in a couple poets or a couple comedians and feature them in a live broadcast on both Facebook and YouTube. The difference between this 1 hour segment and the rest of Open Mic or the Friday features that I book here is this is all original material. I'm showcasing the singer-songwriter, the poet-writer, and their original work. Showcasing their creativity. And at the end, I do this little Q&A because I grew up watching storytellers unplugged behind the music, shows like that, and fell in love with listening room environment. Every stream I've done the past decade, we have a Q&A. So first off, I want to start, I'm going to start with a nod to something you said right there near the end. You're talking about a lot of your piano songs seem to be sadder songs. And I'm glad that you still were comfortable playing those. I have artists that'll come to me, oh, it's my sadder songs, I don't want to play them. I'm like, happy songs, sad songs, is it real? Then share it. People connect to it. So if you could, just maybe give me a few minutes about your connection to that emotion and experiencing that catharsis through the piano or the keys in those songs.
Yeah. It's a tough question, and it is tough because my emotions get in the way a lot. Not in like yes, sometimes in a bad way, because like when I just played that last one, like I almost cried, but I was like, I need to be singing right now. So there's a part of me that is super excited to share and to be heard with that, but the other part kind of has to like, I was just thinking as I was playing, like I need to shut that off right now so I can get through the song, and that's happened to me a lot, just with more of my piano songs, because I started writing music on the piano. The guitar is actually my second instrument that I learned, even though it's what I play primarily more of now. The piano just has like a deep connection to me. I started when I was 5 playing piano.
Wow. And
that's kind of what, had me fall in love to music. So it's very with music, to music, whatever. But yeah, I think it's exciting when I get like a group of people who are willing to listen, and those are the opportunities I take to play these songs. So it means a lot. So thank you.
That's awesome. No, I thank you for sharing that with us. It's whether I'm wearing my poet hat or whether I'm wearing my filmmaker hat and I'm doing an original story, it's visceral, it's real. It's like I tell people in performance workshops, that is the most difficult side of you to show. Mm-hmm. And yet that is why it is most important, even if you save those moments for specific environments for those that would appreciate them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it felt like the right time. So.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. Because that vulnerability, that's part of it. I mean, not that Taylor Swift ever really experienced a drop in her popularity, but look at the oomph she's getting, you know, and a lot of it really comes from just gonna rip that open, dive in, and put it out there. Yeah. And that's awesome.
Yeah, totally.
So you said you started with piano. What brought you to guitar?
I think I was in high school. Well, actually, the guitar has a few stories. Back in, 4th grade, I really wanted to be Avril Lavigne. So obviously I needed an electric guitar. So I got an electric guitar for probably a birthday or Christmas or something, and I learned 3 chords. And I played those 3 chords over and over again in the basement a lot. So sorry to my family for that. And then I kind of just gave up on it. Like I go in spurts. If you know me, I'm very much like, I'm gonna do this thing, but I do that with like 100 things, and then maybe 2 of those things actually happen.
I'm right there.
Yeah. So I kind of, put it under the bed. It was away for many years, and then when I started writing music on the piano, I was a freshman in high school, so I was 13, and I think a year or 2 into writing music, I realized, I remember vividly, I was on a drive to Michigan, of all places, and looking out the window, as you do, and you're like in your own movie, listening to music, and I was like, if I'm gonna be a singer-songwriter, I need to learn the guitar. So that was the moment. And then I was like, okay, I'm gonna learn guitar now.
Awesome.
That was it.
That's awesome. No, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So many people are, I might use that as a talking point at some point. So many people are afraid to make those transitions. I started off, my poetry was not originally meant to be spoken word or slam or anything else. I was writing song lyrics.
Oh, wow.
That's where I started off, is writing song lyrics. And I tried to learn keys. I could play the Wedding March.
There you go, yeah.
I could play Ray Parker Jr., the Ghostbusters theme song,
Nice.
And you mentioned 3 chords. I do want to say one thing. The late, great B.B. King, he did not know chords. Like, he couldn't identify a chord for you, and what he could play was 3 chords.
Yeah.
That was it.
Dang.
That was it. So don't knock yourself for those 3
chords.
chords.
Yeah, you could do a lot with 3 chords. I will say you could. I didn't know what they meant at the time, but
I know the feeling all too well.
Yeah.
But so I'm going to continue on your journey right there. So we get into guitar, and you've got these aspirations going forward. If you could just kind of give me just a little glimpse into your evolution from that point to getting out and playing venues.
Wow. Well, let me try to make a long story concise, which is hard for me. But okay, so I was in high school writing music, and I started having some friends who would play out at local places around Chicago, and so I got connected with a promoter, and then he, scheduled me for a bunch of shows. And from there, junior, senior year of high school, I was playing a lot around the suburbs of Chicago, in Chicago, and then I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life, as most people, some people do. I'm just gonna talk about myself. But yes, I still wanted to go to college and stuff. I'm really blessed that I got to do that. And I thought I wanted to go to music school, but then I decided I don't want this to feel competitive or like my job. So I'm gonna go to Chicago, which is where I went to college, so that I could be connected in a music scene. And then throughout college, honestly, music was very much on the back burner. I would play, here and there at little community spaces, but I wasn't really getting booked for shows. No longer, because I didn't want to do the promoter thing anymore, and so I was kind of just on my own journey with that, still writing, but it was very sporadic. Like I said before, I get into certain modes, and so music was on the back burner for a long time, and it wasn't until I think after I graduated college that I was like, okay, I want to really put myself fully into music, which I tried for maybe 8 months, released an EP, and then I started, doing full-time nonprofit work. So I was by music, kind of, and then I had no energy for my music, so I worked in the nonprofit field for a few years. Music was always just in the background, and I somehow managed to get another EP out in that time, and then I moved to Colorado 2 years ago. And that change, that move to Colorado, was a huge just opening for me to get back to my music and really go all in, as people say. And so that's really when I started, getting connected to record my album, which I did the first year I was here, and then it wasn't until this last year that I really started playing out at places. So this is the first time in the past year that I've actually been booking myself as an independent musician around Colorado Springs, and it's been super rewarding, and a lot of, no responses, who's there, a lot of try, and then I feel like even in just the last few weeks, like so much has just come together with, being able to, getting that energy back and getting the opportunities to play. So I thank everyone for that. And that was kind of, that's the story.
That's awesome. No, that's awesome. So I want to touch on your influences a little bit, all right? I know hearing, just if I just focus on the last couple songs that are still fresh in my brain, I could find elements of Sarah Bareilles. I could find elements of Norah Jones. I could find a number of different things in there. I'd like to know what your influences are.
Norah Jones is one of them. So I had that one prepared, but so that means a lot. Norah Jones is a big one. Maggie Rogers, love Maggie Rogers. A lot of young female artists I really am drawn to. But I also love the Avett Brothers. I love Fleet Foxes. Those are some of my biggest influences. Mumford and Sons. They have amazing lyrics and songwriting. So yeah, a whole mix.
Now, do you have anything that surprises you in your creativity? Like, there's one piece that I will rarely ever share. One poem I will rarely ever share, only because I was inspired by Baz Luhrmann's Class of '99, which is actually a spin on a professor's commencement speech. And I wanted to write something in that vein. Little did I know until I'd written the piece, 6 months later, I'm sharing it in a competition, and I realized it's not a carbon copy, but it was close to that. So I started examining my influences, and people laugh when I say I realized, not just in my early days when I was 14, but even now in my 40s, Shakespeare, Poe, and Pearl Jam. They were my original influences in writing, and they still are in many ways today.
I love that.
Do you find any things that kind of surprise you like that? Like me with Baz Luhrmann, I had no idea it hit me that hard.
I don't know. I guess there have been times where I've been like writing a song and I'd be like, wait a minute, this is really familiar. I think this is already someone else's song, so let me restart. So that's definitely happened to me. Just in the subconscious, I listen to music a lot, like all the time. So who knows what's going on in there, so that's a funny surprise, I feel like at times. But then what also surprises me is how I think artists that I wouldn't expect to inspire me do. I don't have an example, but I just think that it's cool that even if it's not my go-to style or my go-to, artist, that I can still maybe connect with something and it would spark a new inspiration, even if it's like completely different than what I would. And that's like kind of the whole point, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I'm going to come back around to that. I'm glad you hit that note. I'm going to come back around to that in just a moment. But before I do, I want to talk a little bit, just very briefly, I want to touch on your writing process. This is one of my favorite questions to ask, particularly because you never know from folks who might be watching online or sitting here in the house who's struggling with the creative side, whether it's composing or writing lyrics. And I found that many musical acts tend to go in one of two directions. One, not that U2 created this method, but they're my favorite band, so I call it the U2 method.
Love them.
Where they compose some music, maybe just start off with a little section of something, and then Bono will wrap lyrics around it, and eventually producers will convince him to write those lyrics down.
Yeah.
Then you have others who they will start writing the lyrics for a chorus or write a first verse, and then the band will come around it. Do you have a particular approach?
I do, and I think it's changing, which I think is good.
Yes.
But usually I have first the idea for a song. So like, say I'm feeling a certain way, or there's a certain, time in my life, something that inspires me, a person, a story, a place. Like it could be anything. That idea I just kind of hang on to. I literally text myself. I text myself all the time. It's kind of sad, but it's very useful if anyone, just saying. So I'll text myself the idea, and then I'll kind of circle back to it. I have lines of songs floating around all the time. Like I'll think of something and I'll text it to myself, and it could show up in the next song, or it could show up in a song in 2 years. Like I really do go back to those notes and I see, okay, like what can I work with here? What kind of has stuck? But the most, general streamline is idea, music, and then words.
Okay.
Idea, music, words.
Okay.
That's what I do.
I like that.
Yeah.
And no, my notes app is full of, I have a folder in my notes app just called Bits and Pieces.
Yeah, bits and pieces. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is.
Who
knows what it will be?
Exactly. I mean, one of my when I was still competing, one of my big slam pieces was actually 4 different bits and pieces that one day I just realized they were different sections of the same thought. And so went and rewrote them all together and
Yeah, that's happened to me too with songs, where there was one time I was writing what I thought was one song. Actually, the opposite happened to me. I thought I was writing one song, but then I realized these are 2 different songs.
Yeah.
And so I wrote them at pretty much the same time, and they're very different, but also similar,
Indeed.
I guess.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Well, trust me, you are not the only one, because I do that stuff too. All right, I got 2 more questions, and I'm gonna let you go. So, rounding back to the part I said I was going to come back to, the catharsis. All right. As I mentioned a moment ago, and as I'm sure you have heard, if not said to people yourself, getting up and talking about some of those things can be so very difficult. What do you find that keeps you going to that place and expressing those emotions, those feelings with those songs?
For me, it's ever since I started writing, it was my biggest coping mechanism. So it's almost like a necessity for me to get it out. Although it's hard at times, I think you just got to do it.
Indeed.
Did that answer the question?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, perfectly, perfectly. I actually, I'm those who are new in here, you mean I'm rather rambly and loquacious myself, and so I expected a bit more drawn out like I tend to do. No, that was perfect. That was great.
That's
Love
very
it.
much me.
I don't know if you've heard me say it before, but I'm a firm believer that we are all mentors. If by virtue of nothing else, you never know who is watching, listening, and learning from your example. And with that, I always say, so be deliberate in anything and everything that you do. I'm going to ask you to be deliberate here.
Okay.
Whether it's somebody watching online, maybe even a family member of yours that hadn't communicated any of this to you, or somebody who just stumbled on the stream. Maybe it's somebody sitting here in this room that is sitting where you and I and many other performers have sat at some point in our lives. We're thinking about the stage, we're hungering or thirsting for the stage, but we're not going anywhere near that stage. Or nowhere near sharing our original material. What words of encouragement would you have, I get a little pretentious here, to take them from the darkness of insecurity and into the light of expression?
Okay. Well, I will just disclaimer, I still have darkness and insecurity. We all do, right? So that's the beauty of getting up there and sharing. I would say, I think the biggest hurdle for me was to find the things that made me feel confident and calm, and using that before getting on stage to really center myself, because my loved ones know I am not a nice person to be around before I have to perform, and I think come a really long way with that. And also just taking the pressure off of yourself, just knowing that it's just life, man. We're just all here, come up, have fun. Yes, these are your deepest, darkest feelings, but whatever, just get it out there, and it's gonna feel so good. As soon as I stopped taking myself so seriously, it made such a huge change, because you're gonna mess up, you're gonna be nervous, you're gonna say stupid stuff like I probably have all night, right? But that's who I am, and I think that you just gotta own it, It's just, your judgment of yourself is the most important thing over anyone else in the room. Obviously, you want to connect with people and you want to be heard, but you, at the end of the day, you lie with yourself, right? So if you can have fun and accept yourself and be like, yeah, I did that crazy thing, it's gonna make it all the better.
Fantastic. I just want to know who gave you a script of my internal monologue, because so many things you're saying, it's like deja vu and, you know, what's going on in my own head.
Yeah.
But that's exactly why I ask those questions of the features in here. You know, remind people it's not just you. We're all dealing with it.
Yeah.
All right, so last thing, you got anything you want to promote? Your socials, shows, albums, anything you want to let people know about?
Sure. So my socials, Sara Van Hecke Music. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook. Those are the main ones that I do. I don't have any new music that is like sitting there ready, but there will be new music in the next year, which is super exciting. So stay tuned for that. I'm gonna be self-recording my next album. And then if you do go on my Instagram, there is a list of shows that I'm playing in the next few months in Colorado Springs, all over town. So definitely give me a follow. You can go to my little show calendar and see what works for you at any of the spots that I'm hanging out. And then I feel like there was something else, but I don't remember.
That's all right. If you get a chance, share it in our Facebook group, the Overpaired Open Mic on Facebook. You can share it in there or DM me, and I'll go ahead and blast
I
it.
remember.
Go for it. Go for it.
Just that I have a website, and my shows are also on my website, saravanhecke.com. That's all.
Fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen at home, and those of you here in Jives, give it up one more time for Sara Van Hecke.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And good luck, everyone. Can't wait to hear you. I should get my guitar, huh?
All right, so for those of you watching online, we are about to kill the stream. Once again, if you are here in the Colorado Springs area, come on down to Jives Coffee Lounge, 16 Cold Run Court, right next to Bancroft Park in Old Colorado City. We got a couple hours of mic left. Now, our list is full. If you were looking to perform, you got to try and hit us next week on Wednesday night, where sign-up starts at 5:30, but we got plenty of artists down here for you to listen to. Otherwise, make sure you're paying attention. I can't words. Make sure you're paying attention to all of our social media, at the Overpaired Open Mic on Instagram, the Overpaired Open Mic group on Facebook, at Poet North Star across all social media, or Jives Coffee on Facebook, or jives.coffee.lounge on Instagram and TikTok, because we've already got the rest of our live stream features for the remainder of the year through December posted up. One of them, Haley Holder, we'll be hearing from later on this evening on the open mic. But we've also got Trip and Billy, My Human Perspective, coming up, hitting us, and I am booking into next year, talking with Nico DeVette, getting him up for his 4th round on our live stream. And plus, I got the Friday features coming up. You have questions about that, hit me up, let me know. You can also check the guides section of our Facebook group, again, the Overpaired Open Mic, as it lists all the basic prerequisites for getting booked for one of our live streams. In the meantime, those of you watching online, thank you so much for joining us, and I hope to see you guys next month. Those of you here in the house, just give me a few minutes, bring the stream down. We're going to get back to the open mic. Thank you.